Hello, ladies and gentlemen, episode 10. How you doing? Good to see you out there. Thanks for joining in. We are experiencing some internet issues this morning, so bear with us. But we are looking good now, as far as I can see. We have Melanie Kluever possibly joining us here in a little bit. She's also experiencing some issues, so we're kind of boggling some things here, but yeah, tune in, let's chat, let's see what's going on with everybody. Yeah, awesome. Episode 10, can you believe it? My goodness, we've done 10 of these. Unbelievable. I've had so much fun bringing people on and chatting and discussing Lincoln's business situation and going up and down, in and out of different people's situations and how they're dealing with the COVID-19 crises. I see some businesses opening now, which is interesting. I'm kind of on the fence about it, but I think that you got to do what you got to do, I suppose, if you're a business owner. And to each his own. Tune in if you have any questions or comments for me and you want to chat. Let me know if you even want to jump on live for a second. If you're out there and you want to chat, come on board. Let's talk about stuff and things. There's so much good stuff happening out in the world because of this. It's definitely changed my life for the better. I think for the different, I'll say. And for the better. I've learned a lot of different tactics, different ways to promote. And tonight we're doing a live stream show in our living room. We're doing a benefit for the Corner Bar in Fremont to raise some money to help them out. Tammy Trahan up in Fremont, she is one of the most beautiful souls in the business. She owns a music club up in Fremont, Nebraska called the Corner Bar, and she's hosting a large concert tonight called Carry the Corner. So we're going to see if we can raise some dollar bills for Tammy and the crew. And there's a whole bunch of great people playing tonight. So tune into that. I think it starts at 7 o'clock. And that lineup should be listed on the Corner Bar Facebook page. And I can even post a link to that in the comments as well. But yeah, make sure to tune in. Hold on just a second. We're getting there's old Pinky. Hi, Pinky from Fremont. How you doing, buddy? Rocking and rolling. We went up to, we played some music in a parking lot at a retirement community the other day, which was quite amazing. It was a great feeling. And the news came out and put it on the radio station and all kinds of great stuff. But Pinky was out there talking to people and dancing on the street. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen. And he knew a bunch of people living in the retirement community that he used to work with at the bank. And fantastic to see him out and about, feeling good. And he's had quite the trials and tribulations the last few years with some health issues, but he is doing good and he looks great. So yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So playing music for me brings me great joy. So it was fun to kind of get out there and play some music for folks and see some people clap their hands and smile and dance around their patios. So that's been going really good. And we're soon going to be coming to the streets of Lincoln. So we've got a plan to play music through the streets here soon. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, it's looking good. We're doing all kinds of fun stuff, trying to stay afloat. And, people have readjusted their lives in different ways, trying to figure out. I know a lot of musicians that are, figuring out this streaming thing, trying to figure out how to get the best sound. And I was up till about 4 or 5 in the morning the other night trying to figure out a new way to bring better sound to you musically. And, it's been fun. It's been interesting, fun, and frustrating all at the same time. So if you're out there and you're one of those people trying to figure out the best way to do things, give me a call. I've been through a lot of hoops lately, trying to figure out how to better my sound and better my the video and everything. So even though you sometimes can't get past the technical difficulties of the world we live in, it's crazy. So anyway, it looks like Melanie might be with us. Let me see if she can join. Hey Mel, can you hear me?
I can.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, sorry.
Good. Wow, it's been a long time.
I know.
Yeah.
Can
Melanie
you hear me okay on
Kluever.
the AirPods?
Say again?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you great. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you so much for joining me. Melanie Kluever, ladies and gentlemen. Melanie is a longtime friend. You and I went to college together, and I've known you way back. So, and now you're this like incredible yoga goddess, and you know so much great stuff. And I'm so happy you're on, because this right now, I think a lot of people are struggling with different schedules, putting their bodies through different motions and different things. I know I've personally been doing a lot more yard work. I don't know why. I mean, obviously the weather's nicer, but now I've got more time at home to kind of focus on these kinds of things, and my body just hates my face. No, but so we brought you on today. I really wanted you to talk about kind of how you're dealing with the COVID-19 crises, and how you as a business are adjusting your life. But I've also want to talk to you about and pick your brain and give people kind of some advice on how to, self-center, how to recenter. I know I've been trying to focus on that, but my time has been kind of all over the place. So when I get a moment to relax, it's been trying. So anyway, first tell us about yourself, if you wouldn't mind.
Well, first I'll tell you that my AirPods aren't working. So
Okay.
You're going to hear the people.
Oh, it's totally fine.
Just okay. So sorry about that.
That's all right.
So I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, I teach yoga 12 years now. My first teacher was your friend also, so Sue Woida. Remember Sue?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, wow.
Sue Hardy.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
So she got me into it. And after about 5 years of practicing, I took a teacher training, and then I started teaching.
Oh, wonderful.
I started Tai Chi about 3 years ago, so I teach that as well.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. I love Tai Chi. I learned Tai Chi in college.
You did?
Yeah. From Paul Steger was the head of the theater department, and he was an incredible movement coach. And his thing was movement with theater, and he was almost kind of like a not a method actor, but he used to use the physicality to find character traits first before he designed a character, I guess. And one of his big things he'd push is relaxation and centering yourself within the character. It was kind of cool. It's very interesting. But he taught Tai Chi, and we took movement classes and everything, so it was super fun.
So you learned hold the ball.
Yeah, for sure. And the whole.
Oh, nice.
I haven't done it in a while, but man, I love it. That might be the answer.
We should get people together in a park.
Oh man, that would be fantastic. I would love that. I would absolutely love that.
It's interesting because I feel really good after I do yoga.
Yeah.
I mean, usually. But I still remember the first time I taught Tai Chi at Madonna. When I finished, I was like, what is this feeling?
Oh.
I remember being like a fountain, like, where is this coming from, and how have I never felt this before? So it is very different. But I do teach a class that's Tai Chi with yoga. So we'll be like in a yoga pose, and then we'll hold the ball and do like strength work where our arms are busy. So that's kind of fun.
For those people watching out there, can you give like a real rough overview of what Tai Chi is in your own definition?
Well, I'm by no means a master. I teach what's called the 8 form, and it's like a modified version for people who are at like fall risk. So we teach a medical-based program to help people as they age or lose mobility, and especially their legs or support. But it's like connecting to your chi. So Tai Chi is all about finding the balance of the 5 elements in Chinese medicine and being able to find like the wellspring of energy that we all have by unblocking what's there.
Wow.
So like stagnation, there's like blood stagnation. If you think of any fluid in the body, any organ can be stagnant, or it can be in, I forgot the word for it, but it's like overproduction.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
if I didn't know anything about Tai Chi, yeah, that would interest me right away. I mean, especially now in this world where we're so, I don't know, I feel a sense of hyped stress, or heightened stress, and it's just a different world for so many people, and they're kind of, in my opinion, the people I've talked to, they're kind of scrapping,
Mm-hmm.
you know, kind of scrapping for a new, just a new lifestyle. So it's really thrown people off.
Yeah, it makes you feel very uncentered, right?
That's what I mean. And you're just kind of wobbling. I feel like I'm just kind of wobbling through life,
Yeah.
and I'm not doing my normal routine of day to day. Wake up at like, you know, this time, and I go to this place and I work, and then I put together a show, or do, I normally have a nice routine, so to speak. My life's pretty hectic normally, but I feel like my routine's been totally thrown off. But
Yeah.
so something like that would be really great, especially allowing yourself time. That's got to be huge for the doer, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and I can say, well, I was kind of late to the Zoom game. So I tutor anatomy and physiology through Southeast Community College.
Okay.
So I do Zoom that way, and we had to move, of course, to all Zoom, which is like really hard to tutor on Zoom. You're not like touching parts of your body, like this is the clavicle, like usually
Oh, wow.
I need it for them. But so I should have really jumped in right away. And I know a lot of people started offering online classes, but I was super hesitant
I
because
knew that about you. Yeah, because I asked you about it earlier.
you said, "Get going, girl."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
ugh. So I think I
You
only
look uncomfortable though.
5 weeks ago. What are we
Yeah,
in? 8? Week 9?
nine. I mean, this is since I think we're about week 10 when it really started hitting for me. And then I took a week and I thought of doing this show. And then, so yeah, I mean, it's been about 10 weeks. And since it really hit me and my business. So yeah, and I was just kind of reaching out to anybody I knew, saying, "Hey, if you need help kind of altering your structure, let me know," because
Yeah.
yeah, and I knew you were super apprehensive about it, because why wouldn't you be? I mean,
Yeah.
anybody would be. You don't want to do stuff like that, but
I feel like yoga is such a personal experience, although does it have to be? Or maybe I was just creating my own barriers. But I so love the energy of a yoga room, right?
right.
Like you can walk in, and I'm not like a hippie, but maybe I am a hippie. Maybe half hippie.
Closet hippie.
You can like read the energy of a room, like
Yeah,
what do they need today based on what I'm feeling and the tension or the openness. And
sure.
you can't do that on Zoom. I see, a little name, and most people have their videos off, and I've been trying to encourage people to keep them on.
Right.
That's personal preference. But I've noticed that at the end of a yoga class on Zoom, people buzz out real fast. Like, not everybody, but even like that last bit of breath work, which I think is super important,
Right.
they just log off. And I'm just like, I'm trying not to take it personally, but at the same time, I'm like, but that's what people need.
The closure.
Their kid might have just came down from upstairs and they're screaming for breakfast. So it's just a whole different
Right.
thing.
Yeah. How the energy's delivered. Yeah.
Mm.
Accepted. That's wild. Yeah, and I could, early on, I could see how it would work. And I think that's why I reached out to you, because I said, look, this might be a way that you can still, possibly bring in some money, and they're the interaction between people's still there, and people can kind of create that world on their own. But now that you say what you just said, it's definitely difficult.
I mean, I was literally moving out my dining room table, chairs, rug, every time I teach to be in this room. And just yesterday, I sold it all.
Oh, you did. You said
Tired of moving this stuff out. So I put it on link consign and it sold right away. And they picked it up yesterday, actually. So I came in this morning and I'm already set up with my mat and all my props. And I'm like, I've got no excuse now. I have a built-in yoga studio. I don't have a dining room, so I can't have anybody over for dinner, but
oh, that's
I
fun.
can have you over for yoga.
So in your case, you basically forced yourself. You just got rid of your stuff, so now you forced yourself to do it.
Yeah, it was an obstacle. I saw it as being something like I'd wake up and I'd be like, oh, I don't want to move that table again.
Yeah. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. If anybody, I do want to say, if anybody out there, we have some people watching, but if anybody out there has any questions for Melanie about any techniques or things they can do at home to kind of center themselves on their own time or when they need it, please pipe in. There's a comment section, so I welcome that, and I'm sure she does too. So, are you, Melanie? Are you getting back on a schedule of teaching online then?
So I teach 3 Zoom classes a week, and then of course the most popular are Saturday mornings, and I only do that very irregularly. So I'm doing one tomorrow. So those are usually the biggest. Saturday morning at 9.
Okay.
And we've been trying to figure out a way how to film classes at Madonna Proactive, but we just cannot find the right room or setup or mic situation or music. Like, I don't know how you guys do this video stuff so well.
Yeah, well, like I said, I've gone through my ups and downs. Trust me. It's I was up till about 4 or 5 in the morning on Wednesday night, and I'm still playing catch up. I don't do that well anymore. I used to be able to party until all hours of the night. I'll tell you what, it really catches up.
You were up because of technology stuff?
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out a new way to get higher res video and better sound. So just tinkering with some different softwares and plugins and stuff, and trying to play with all this crazy gear that I have, and you know, it can just, of course, when you get in it, you don't want to leave because, you know, in my case, I become so obsessed with that particular thing I'm doing, and then I look up and it's like 4 in the morning, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
I think that's what all advertising people have in common.
I know, right? Yeah. Well, that's yeah.
Leave me alone. I must finish this.
Right. And when I get into something, I get into it. I mean, I don't mess around. And it's like, that's how I started in the business. I mean, I didn't go to college for graphic design or web development. I taught, you know, I was forced into it financially. So when I was in Chicago, I basically gave myself a college education in about 28 days. And I was just.
When you were in Chicago, you worked at that music store, right?
I worked at the Old Town School of Folk Music forever, and then and then at night I would bartend, and I just got so tired of alcoholics, and I got so tired of that being the cheapest paid psychiatrist in the neighborhood, and I was like, it's time to make a change. And I just literally I jumped out and I took a Nestea plunge, and I said I can't do it anymore, and so I got obsessed with something called lynda.com, and it was like kind of an online tutor website. And then my brother Kane in New York gave me a ton of guidance, and some friends gave me some guidance on how to get set up and learn these programs that were vital to what I need. And I just jumped right in. And by 28 days, I had my first gluten-free grocery store that needed a website.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they paid me $1,800 for a website, and I was like, well, that just made our rent for all month. And I think we had like, at the time, we had like $500 in our account. Like, it was terrible. So.
And that's when you were still in Chicago?
Yeah, but you know what? Like, after that, I never looked back. I mean, I started doing web development for people and marketing, and I've always kind of been one of those idea guys to where it's like, hey, how can you make your business better? And I think that's why I always had I struggled in college to keep a job, because I would walk in and tell owners that they're not doing stuff right. And I'd be like, look, you could be doing this, and logically it makes more sense, right? And I think that they just get offended. But now that's kind of what I do. Businesses call me and I give them advice.
Where did you work when you were in college? I can't remember.
Oh God, we don't have enough time for that.
Did you work at High Nooners as
I worked
well?
at Nooners. Actually, I didn't lose that job. I love that job.
Yeah.
Diane was great.
Did you work at Duffy's? No.
I worked at Knickerbockers later,
Oh yeah,
and
you were the sound guy.
I did sound at Knickerbockers, and I was also a bartender there. Those were my later jobs, which were great. But the earlier jobs, I worked at Spaghetti Works,
Oh wow.
Crane River. I lost a job at Crane River because I told.
Oh, I loved Crane River.
I know. Those owners hated me so much. I was like, because I told them that they were doing stuff wrong and they didn't like me.
And then, well,
It's totally fine though. It is what it is. I learned from it. I'm sure they learned from it. 9 times out of 10, they changed to what I suggested like a year later and then thanked me for it. So whatever. It is what it is.
what was the night that everyone would go in there for cheap pints?
Mondays.
Oh, Monday?
Mondays, yeah.
Yeah.
$1.50 pints.
Yeah, I loved that. That was fun.
Yeah. And these kinds of things kind of shape you, you know what I mean? Like in your case, Sue probably got you into it and you were interested. In my case, I fell into a career by default because I wanted a career that I could be a musician at. I could be creative and write ads for people. I could design for people. I could do websites for people. And so like, I mean, I studied radio in high school and college, and I also studied sound design in college. So it was like everything that I loved was wrapped up in media, and I just didn't know it. In college, I just didn't know that there was the right field for me because I was interested in so many different things. But you know what? The thing I learned the most is if you're scared about making a move, but you know it's the right move, you have to do it. That's been my huge thing is take the Nestea plunge and do it. Even though if it's financially detrimental, you'll figure it out.
Well, that's the thing. I was thinking about that question the other day, like how people always say, I'll do it when I'm ready.
Right.
But when is ready?
You're never ready.
There is no ready.
No.
Yeah.
It's like having kids, you're never ready.
And you have to, what is the quote? You have to fail to succeed, which is so hard.
Yeah.
But I sucked at yoga when I started. I just had Isaac, so that was 12 years ago. And like
sometimes can't get past that. I bet. Yeah, I remember when you had Isaac. It's like, what do we do now?
Here and my friend was like, well, I'm leaving for the summer. I need you to take over my class. And I'm like, yeah, nope, sorry. There's fluids coming out of me. Like, this is not going to happen. I'm soft. I'm not ready. And she said, you're doing it.
Oh,
and at first I thought that was kind of rude of her. Yeah, but sometimes you actually need people like that in your life to just go, like, you will be ready because you're going to walk into the room and you have no choice.
Yeah.
And that was all it took for me. I mean, I need to apologize to many of my first students because I didn't know what I was doing. But that's the way it goes.
But you know what? You get thrown in the fire and you figure it out. That's how it's always been, even with my early jobs too. It's like, oh, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't know how to make a rusty nail. Well, you'll figure it out. As a bartender, you just don't. Sometimes you're not prepared to do everything that you need to, but you'll figure it out.
You got to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think that because you don't know what you're doing, you actually prepare yourself even more as you're doing it, and you learn to become better at it.
Yeah, it's like that nervousness is the inspiration then, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And with me and owning a marketing company, I've owned it for almost 11 years now. I've been doing it. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Red Rebel's been close to 8, and then I owned Semrod Marketing in Chicago for 3 years before that. So it's interesting, and I've very seldom I would say no to a job, even though, like, let's say it was an animation thing, and I didn't quite know how to do it. I would go learn how to do it, and then I would do the job, because when you're a business owner, as you know, sometimes you have to scrape and claw for those gigs. You gotta find that money, fight for it.
Yeah.
So
only one I don't do that many logos on the side anymore because, like I told you, I design in CS6.
Oh yeah.
You know, what's his? He did Roundus. I just saw him yesterday. What's his name?
Is that a design?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, let me look up his name. Christopher Kingsley.
Oh, okay. I don't know him.
I think he's now at one of the bigger agencies. But I went there yesterday to borrow a webcam, and he was like, "Girl, I cannot believe you're still in CS6. Like, it's not expensive to do the creative suite because all I use is Illustrator for logos." And he's like, "Just do it. Like, it's not 2006."
Oh yeah, I know. And how often you came across those?
So it took both of you being like, it's 2020.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna look into it today.
Awesome. Well, tell everybody about your new company idea. I think this is really awesome.
Well, I don't see myself ever starting a studio because I think I would just start to hate the business side of yoga. But when I worked in the physical therapy world for 2 years, my boss was always like, you need business cards to hand out to people, obviously, to help them on the side with yoga. Yeah. Well, then I started going to school for physical therapy, and then I realized I hated it because I didn't want to deal with insurance and billing and all that fun stuff. And half the people coming to PT are not going to change. They're not going to change their way of life. They want a quick fix. And that was really hard for me to digest. Like, I would come home and just be so overwhelmed with the lack of care people give their bodies, right?
Oh, wow.
So that's so much different than yoga. Like yoga, when people walk in the room, they're not there from a prescription necessarily. They're like taking ownership, right?
Right.
They're like all in rather than 20% in for an hour once a week. So I wanted a way to communicate with people, not necessarily for them to come to my studio, but to do privates. I love to work with posture imbalances. I look at a lot of people's butts, which sounds weird, but like I'm pretty good at gauging, okay, that person's glute max is weak on this side because they have a rotation in this part of their pelvis, and I could help giving them A, B, C. So that's
that's how you would find that information out?
You just start by looking at their butt, Mike.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I did an workshop where we just line people up, look at their butts, and then you like could put a little piece of tape on which butt is weaker, and then you give them a whole.
It makes sense if you're talking about even with design and evening images out, like leveling, centering, it's the same thing.
It's like a grid, right? Not that we're symmetrical, nor that everything needs to be symmetrical, but we want balance.
Or perfect, yeah.
So I've gone through so many names. I mean, how many times did you change a name before you decided?
You know, just once. And the reason was, we almost were Red Feather. And then at the last minute, I said to my business partner, I said, did you ever look that up online?
Oh no.
Make sure that there wasn't another Red Feather. And he kind of went, not really. And so I did a real quick search for Red Feather Media. And I'm not even kidding, like worldwide, right? We're talking internet search. There was a Red Feather photography in Lincoln, Nebraska. And I don't know if they're still even around, but they were then. And I was like, dude, we can't do that. So we had to totally change, and then we became Red Rebel. So and I like the name better. It's 10 times better. But especially for the kind of people we are, we think outside the box, and we're far more rebellious than the normal marketing company.
Oh, cool.
That's paid off. So
is it just you now, though?
I have two people that kind of work side by side, but they're not full employees. And then I've got probably 30 freelancers that work underneath. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, it's been good. You know, it's like any project that comes our way, we can handle it. So it's been great for us, you know, and I don't really want to become a huge firm. I like to keep it small and tight, and we we provide a great service to people, and that's what we lean on. So when you
Yeah.
become too big, I think you lose who you are, and I don't ever want to affect that.
When I was screen printing, do you remember when I did that?
Oh yeah, you did great at that. That was fantastic. You did
I'm
baby clothes and
so set on keeping it so small
oh
and printing everything. And I remember I'd like go into Von Mar and they'd be like, gosh, when you get bigger, we're going to carry your stuff. Or, everyone wanted me to outsource. And I was so scared of outsourcing that maybe I should have, because I couldn't do it anymore. Like I was down in the basement printing.
right.
And if you've ever silk screened, which I know you have, like
Yeah.
if you make a mistake, that piece of clothing is gone. Like it's crap. Like I think I sent a huge box to Africa once of just to donate of all the ones that I couldn't sell. And it's a hit. Like those pieces are expensive. I mean, I have a whole basement full of onesies.
Oh wow.
I stopped doing Cluster of Parrots like 8 years ago, 7. I don't know.
Wow. That was such a cool business too, though. It was really neat.
Yeah, I was on Target's website for a while, and I was in the Budget Living, which was one of my favorite magazines.
Wow.
And Budget Living, when they called me, they were actually like, so you're charging too little. Like we love that you are, because the name of our magazine is Budget Living. But they were like, you should probably raise the price of your onesies by like $5. And I was like, what? But I didn't know anything.
Wow. Really?
So they were helpful for me there. And then I bumped it up, and
That's incredible.
yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, when you jump into something like that, I confront that all the time with businesses that come to me, because most of the time, 75% of the time, businesses come to me when they're brand new and they have no idea about which way to go.
Yeah.
And I actually love that, because we start from nothing. It's a different story when you have an established brand and somebody wants to make a pivot and kind of change direction. But when somebody comes to me with a brand new company idea, I love that, because I can kind of give them the advice that they probably would have found out down the road, and it may have affected their business to the point where they would have lost it. So
it's like dealing with a baby rather than a teenager.
yeah, and not in your case, because I mean, upping a onesie $5 probably isn't, but who knows? Maybe you would have lost big or gained big from that. But yeah, I always like to give them the advice, kind of, cut them off at the pass and say, don't do that, because you'll lose money doing this. And I do that all the time.
Yeah.
It's a pretty frequent thing that I give advice to people. Even right now, a company came to me completely brand new, and they have a soy-based product they spray on roofs, and it's like a totally new world, like nobody's ever heard of it. But but it's awesome to like design branding and design.
Oh, it's like an alternative to asphalt shingles.
It rejuvenates shingles. So it takes an old brittle shingle that's dried out and you can break, and you spray this soy-based oil on it, and like a day later, you can't break it.
So it like it fills in the dry.
Brings back the natural oils in the shingle, and it's
like what yoga and Tai Chi do for your body.
Pretty much, yeah, because a lot of that flow and that moisture gets into it's absolutely just like that.
Yeah.
But it's such a cool product, but it can save the homeowner. Instead of spending $10,000 on a new roof, you can get a rejuvenated shingle, for like 20% the price. It's incredible.
That's cool.
So there's these weird companies like this, and then so here I am figuring out how to market that. I mean, there's the green aspect, there's the new to the market aspect. There's now we're dealing with people like not having money. So this could make or break a home sale for a family in need.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of cool angles to market. So it's been fun. It's been really fun. But yeah.
Facelift for your roof.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, completely.
Botox.
Yeah, it's the Botox for your roof. Yeah, totally. That's funny. Yeah. So I don't know. So branding, now with your Mellow Movement company, you and I have kind of been going back and forth on branding. So talk about that. So for Mellow, let me understand you though. You don't want to start a company with this, right?
Like by company, I don't ever see myself running a yoga studio. Yeah, no.
Okay. So what is it then?
A brand, a way of, there's like as many types of yoga as there are sports, right? Some people think, yoga is one thing.
Okay.
Like I took my sister's boot camp class the other day, and when we walked out of the room sweaty and gross, my stepdad said something about different than a yoga class, right? And I'm like, no, like depends what kind of yoga you're taking, right? Like I love the classes where you walk out of the yoga room smelling like death because you're so gross.
Yeah.
Right? But I also love the ones where you're, peaceful and not sweaty. So I wanted to, there's so many different types that I kind of started to write down on paper the story of what I think the yoga is that I teach.
Okay.
I don't feel pulled in so many directions. There's so many schools already. I don't want to create my own school, but I teach anatomy, so I always wanted a yoga that was more focused on that. Not necessarily alignment crazy like how some yoga schools are, but that when someone saw what I ended up with was Mellow Movement, when someone saw that, they would kind of know what they were getting into, right?
Okay, cool.
And it would give me structure. It would give a way for people to communicate and find me on Instagram, find me on YouTube. And my idea, hopefully someday, would be more to travel. When Maida's almost 16, like what?
Wow, unbelievable.
So when she's able to kind of shuffle and get herself around, and Isaac, I was hoping to travel more across the U.S. and teach anatomy for yoga. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that would be your brand and your business at that point.
Yeah. And
so
then
it's a precursor to setting up a business.
Yeah. So instead of it being like a shop or like a studio, it would be a very movable movement.
Sure.
And I didn't want to be attached to just yoga because of the Tai Chi and the physical therapy background. So yeah, Mela, which is just my name at the beginning, right? Mm-hmm. But then when I looked it up in Sanskrit, which I didn't know this word existed, it actually means like group or tribe or gathering, which I thought, what? Like, how have I gone 12 years or 15 years in this world without knowing that?
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So I gave you my first logo to look at, and then I scrapped it, and now I'm at square one again.
Well, I like what you had. I think there's things you should keep, and I think that's an awesome setup for a business, hopefully in the future. But let me ask you: have you ever thought about doing pre-recorded videos,
like on YouTube?
YouTube, or even like a larger production style video where you like film your course and then maybe sell the videos?
So I did. So when Lotus, so I also teach at Lotus House of Yoga. When we had to close the studio temporarily, we were just starting teacher training, the 2-hour, and I teach anatomy for that. And so they're like, can you come in and we're going to film them all? So we did that. So now they exist. They're on a platform called teachable.com.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I haven't looked at it yet because I'm afraid of seeing myself, you're the biggest critic of yourself.
Sure.
I think it was good to get out of the way and feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
But like there were times where I'd be holding the skeleton and say something and I'd be like, that's not true. Let me redo that statement. And because we were on such a time crunch, we couldn't start over. So I'm sure it's just like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I didn't mean that.
Yeah. The reason I ask you is because I see so much stuff in my world with digital software and everything. Like, for example, Pro Tools, it's a music program. They've gone to a subscription based, and even Illustrator, like you talked about earlier, everybody's gone subscription.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to pay a monthly fee to get that service. And I can visualize something like that for yoga, and I bet there is already.
Yeah, like, I subscribe to Yoga Glow.
Okay.
Glow, because it's not just yoga. And they have great production. Like they only film in their studio in, maybe it's in LA or something, and they fly the teachers out there to do, like, I think they do like a series of 5 to 10 videos. So they all are very well done.
So you can subscribe to that course.
It's not famous enough, Mike.
Oh, you don't need to be famous if you did it right.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that would be your fame. If you did the way you did it, would be what would make you popular.
Yeah.
And I think that I also subscribe to this really great Nashville guitar teacher, but he has a subscription based. And the cool part about that is I can go on anytime I want and watch it.
Oh, so you like learn the song from him or the chords?
Yeah, so he does a course, and then when I log in, the course starts where I ended last time, regardless of when that was. It's always there. It's an online course, so it's always going to be there whenever I have time to do it. And I can see something like that working for the yoga world, like a subscription base. And you can pick your teacher if you're not into the current teacher. Maybe you can switch it up, and go to a different teacher and learn a different technique. And boy, there'd be a ton of different stuff you could do with that. I'm like you said, I'm sure there is, but I just haven't seen it.
There is, but maybe, I'm not sure that there's one that's directly, I don't know. That's a great question. I'm going to think about that, because there are lots of platforms for yoga.
Yeah.
And gosh, I wish I would have gotten in on the YouTube 10 years ago, because like there's Yoga with Adrienne. Like I think if you even go to YouTube and type in yoga, you'll get her.
Oh, really?
She just started filming stuff in her living room or whatever. And now she's like getting paid so much from advertisers. And I'm like, oh, why didn't I do that when people were telling me to do it? It was because I wasn't ready.
Yeah. I know this would be me telling you right now. You can watch this in 5 years and say, I wish I would have done. Or you can be like, I'm so glad I did that.
The nesty plunge.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I used to dive off at the dock at home in Columbus. I'd say,
really?
Nesty plunge.
That's right. You're from Columbus. That's right.
Yeah.
I used to drive through Columbus all the time because I had family in Norfolk, so I spent a lot of time in Columbus. We drove through a lot, and then we'd also stop because my uncle owned a liquor store right on that main drag right over the viaduct.
What he did? Was it called Baker's?
It was called Baker's, I think, and it was way back. Probably, it might have been when you were just a kid. I think they stopped doing it, but and then he moved to Las Vegas. He was kind of a mover and a shaker. He's an interesting guy.
Huh.
He always told me to eat more jalapenos. It'd give me more chest hair.
Or more gas.
Yeah, yeah, maybe so. He was a great guy, though. But yeah, Columbus was where they lived, and so we'd always stop to see them and the aunt and uncle, and then we'd head on to Norfolk to see my grandma. Spent a ton of time in Norfolk, so.
Yeah, I remember you guys had a mall and we didn't, so I used to drive to Norfolk a lot.
Oh, yes, right. Oh, so what was the name of that mall in Norfolk? I can't remember.
Probably Norfolk Mall.
I think it was. I think you're right. Of course, Johnny, and there was tons of mall walkers that people used to do that like crazy.
Oh, they still do it at Gateway or whatever, I think.
Oh yeah. That's a big deal.
I think the malls have opened, but I have like no intention of going shopping.
No, I don't feel that that's a good idea. Nebraska's at the peak of everything right now, and I don't want to turn this into a political discussion, but it's just not a smart idea.
It's so
bad. But man, I want to say to each his own, but actually them doing that affects me and the people I love. So it's like, I just don't feel like that's a safe idea until we really figure out what this is that we're dealing with. And the numbers all tell us that it's not a good idea. There was like a retirement community in Elkhorn just got hit, like huge.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's terrible. Well, I don't want to see those older folks go, and we all have parents and that are at risk and at that age, and people we love of that age. And I think that the economic factor shouldn't affect the way we feel about our people.
So I was thinking the other day how I mean, I've been boycotting Amazon for almost the last year, but it's been so hard to boycott Amazon during this.
Oh yeah.
And I've placed a couple orders.
Yeah.
And I saw the article yesterday that he's set to become the first trillionaire in the world,
Mm.
and how much he's benefited from this the last 8-10 weeks.
Oh,
And I just that like hurt me deep down. I was like,
I
what?
know. It's a economic wicked necessity, I suppose. You corner people into buying stuff, and it
Yeah.
is what it is. I mean, they run a tight business, and it's good, and you can't deny that. I get stuff so fast from Amazon, it's crazy.
I know.
But yeah, it is. It's you know, we see these types of things all over. But anyway, I really do think that that would be something that you should look into, is doing pre-recorded videos.
Let me finish
or,
this logo first.
or you could be the one that starts the software so other teachers can upload their videos.
That exists.
It does?
Yeah. They're everywhere.
Really?
But what I probably need to focus on is more of see, my big idea that got me into the anatomy world was I wanted to start building a space where yoga teachers could come and look at cadavers. So I wanted to be the first like yoga, super anatomy based yoga, where you come and learn straight from the cadaver.
Wow.
Well, I put that off until suddenly it existed. So there is one now in, I think, Denmark, and there's one on the East Coast. There isn't one here, but I'm wondering what rules are going to change, like even with cadavers from all of this.
Wow. That's amazing. Interesting.
Yeah. So there's always digital. They're coming up with more digital stuff, like digital cadavers. And I think UNMC maybe is on the forefront of that. So I've been trying to get the balls or the chi.
Yeah.
To just corner one of those guys and say, hey, take a chance on me and let me work with your digital cadaver program.
Wow. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I think that you have a lot of those things going on in your world where you're like, yeah, I might, I don't know.
It's
but
like,
then you regret it later.
I know that, and I think that comes back to how everybody's feeling right now. We're so scattered.
Yeah. Yeah. And it takes, you know.
Yeah. So I guess my best advice to people, you can look me up. I'm doing those Zoom classes every week, which are donation based. But there's a lot of great resources for that too. Creating a little space in your house is so important.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be big. Like sometimes people just put like, I don't know if you're into incense, which, you know, or Palo Santo, which I just bought Palo Santo deodorant and it's amazing. But like even just having a space where you can sit, like this is called a meditation cushion, but you don't even need something that fancy. And maybe you just sit against the wall. You just sit as close to the earth as possible rather than on a chair if you can. And you just like close your eyes or rub something that makes you remember to come into your body.
Mm.
I think so much of what's happening now, we're only in our body in the way that we're trying not to get sick, right? But that's not really healthy.
Right. Right.
So you're missing an entire aspect of your energy and your vitality by just focusing on not getting sick. You've got to focus on being truly embodied in your breath.
Oh, wow. That's incredible advice. And for those people out there that are feeling it, you know, every day in their bodies and feeling the stress kind of overwhelm them, I think that's huge advice. Absolutely.
Yes.
And you can always reach out to you. I bet I would imagine that people can reach out to you if they have questions, correct?
Yeah. I'm on Facebook. I haven't quite started any Mela movement stuff because, again, logo. Ugh. You'll have to just keep prodding me and see where I'm at.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna push you, no doubt. I'm gonna
create a mood board, which I love. When I worked in the ad world, creating mood boards was my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Like mood board city. I like get so excited about
Your
mood.
logo does it though. I mean, you're already there.
Yeah.
It has all those things. You have to take that initiative, Melanie. Absolutely.
And once I'm there, we can inspire people and show them the end result and say, you can finalize and finish something as well.
And I still think if it's branded right, I think the online thing could take off. You know, if you ever wanted to blow up in that fashion, I think that, I mean, I'm online all the time and I didn't see anything like that. But I'm going to research it more because
Okay.
if it's in line with what I'm thinking. Because if the subscription base was set up right and if the engine was set up right, I think people could do that really amazingly. Even if it was open to the public to upload their own videos and do like a community spread, like a community share, if you will, of homemade yoga videos that people could watch. I think
There is.
there is, and anybody can upload videos.
Yeah, you have to pay. I think there's even one where you don't actually have to pay anything outright, but if they get part of the money when someone views it and
Okay. All right. I'm gonna check this out, and if it's
I'll see if I can find the name if I Google it, it should come up because all of my history.
yeah, I think that we are.
It's like, nah.
Yeah, we're seeing so much now. I think people would really depend on, and if you had a good, website or a place people could come to watch your videos, I think that you can design that into a really cool, tight, professional look, and it goes with your branding. I think that'd be huge.
Yeah, I just saw yesterday, because I'm late to the game, that on Zoom there's a button that says like Facebook Live. Did you know that?
Oh, okay. So you can go live with Zoom, yeah?
I was thinking tomorrow for my 9 a.m. class, I might just click that halfway through, if that's even a thing, so that I can, I think a lot of people are intimidated by Zoom and, getting the meeting code from the teacher and going that extra step.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the reason I don't do Facebook Live is because I know that most of those people aren't actually doing yoga, right? It's so easy when you're scrolling and you're like, oh, somebody's teaching yoga. I'm just going to sit here and watch it for a second. So it needs that one extra step then to make them actually do it and benefit from it rather than watching it and critiquing it.
Right. Sure.
You're good at critiquing each other.
Yeah. Right.
So
sure.
I was thinking I might just pop it onto Facebook Live tomorrow morning, just so people who I don't know or don't know that well might be like, oh, I didn't know that was happening. Maybe I will start doing yoga.
Yeah.
So I'm going to touch that button tomorrow and see what happens.
I'm telling you, open the door at every turn. That's what you need to look at. And if it's a sign from the heavens or wherever you believe in, if it opens a positive door and you feel good about it, take it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep. Well,
so
thank you so much.
Morning session is you're never ready. Just do things.
That's right. That's right. That's right. It's so good to see you. I haven't seen you for so long, and it's nice to catch up. Absolutely. We need to do this more.
Yeah, when this is over, you could remember how to make the open prairie veggie melt from Crane River and feed it to me.
Let me think back on my days of telling business owners how to run their business.
I think I'm in a Facebook group called Crane River in the House. Are you in it?
I don't know if I'm in that.
I can let you in.
I don't know, but I remember after I quit and I kind of gave the owners the big au revoir. I came back the next week and I got a standing ovation from the bar and everybody at the bar, because they all wanted to say what I said to them.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'll never forget it. And I was just turning 21 at the time, and everybody treated me with a nice beverage. So
free beverage in the place you just quit.
Oh yeah, and a standing ovation.
That's a good way to go.
I would say, yeah. And then later in life, I wrote a song called "Blow It Out Your Blowhorn, Boss Man." This is kind of how we roll, right?
You gotta just get it out. I love it.
That's right.
Whatever medium you can.
That's right. Well, do you have any closing comments for folks? I should probably take off here.
Yeah, I should probably feed my children. Just I think we're all in this space again of being overwhelmed and scattered. So just coming back to something that is tangible, and that's your breath. So if you can find a place to sit, it doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have to buy anything for it, but find something meaningful, whether it's a photo or, a lot of yoga people use malas. So I like to rub my fingers on beads and things like that. But whatever, hippie or not, just find a place that you can close your eyes and trust the space you're in and breathe. And it's just going to make a world of difference if you haven't tried that yet.
Beautiful advice from a beautiful person, Melanie Kluever. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we'll catch up. Keep in touch about your branding and what you're doing, and take the leap. I think that's your biggest thing.
And your beautiful family, a big kiss for me, please.
Will do. Will do.
Okay.
Thanks, lady. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, world.
Bye-bye. Melanie Kluever, ladies and gentlemen, from Lincoln, Nebraska, Mela Movement. And she does all kinds of great stuff around town. Make sure to contact her if you have any questions about centering and getting back into your space and finding your chi. That's important during these times of stress and irregularity. So much love, everybody. Happy Friday. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Cheers.